If you're pregnant for the first time, you're probably feeling overwhelmed by all the doctor's appointments. Like, do I really need to go to all of them? What are they even checking for? And why am I always being handed a cup to pee in?
We get it. It can feel like a lot, but every appointment is packed with crucial info about your baby's development and your health. Plus, knowing what to expect can take a lot of that stress away.
In this video, we're going to walk you through exactly what happens at each prenatal appointment, what questions you should ask to make sure you're getting the best care possible, and how your partner can stay involved, even if you can't make it to every visit.
And by the way, we've got something really cool that will make your life so much easier, a free trimester checklist for couples. It's packed with to-do lists for both you and your partner for each stage of your pregnancy.
We'll share more about that later, so stick around and let's dive into the first trimester. All right, so let's talk about the first trimester. This is where everything kicks off, and it's really about laying the foundation for a healthy pregnancy. Your first appointment will usually happen sometime between 8 to 12 weeks, and it's one of the most important because it's where your doctor will confirm the pregnancy, go over your medical history, and do a full health check. They'll run some blood work to check your iron levels, blood type, and your hormone levels. You'll also likely do a urine test to check for things like protein and your sugar levels.
This is where you'll get your first ultrasound too to date the pregnancy, and it will confirm just how far along you really are, which is crucial for tracking baby's growth and setting your official due date.
And here's where you want to be proactive. Start asking questions that will help guide you through this trimester and beyond. You'll want to ask things like, what prenatal vitamins should I be taking? And are there any specific foods or activities that I should avoid? When it comes to prenatal vitamins, look for those with folic acid, which is essential for baby's neural development, as well as iron and calcium. You'll want to make sure you're getting the right balance of nutrients.
Another key question to ask early on is about the prenatal screenings that might be offered. Depending on your age, family history, or other factors, your provider may suggest genetic testing to check for certain conditions. It's good to ask about the pros and cons of those screenings so that you can make an informed decision.
And don't forget to ask about healthy weight gain goals for your pregnancy. Every woman's body is different, and your provider can help guide you on how much weight you should expect to gain to support a healthy pregnancy.
If your partner's there, it's a great opportunity to get them involved. They can ask questions too, like what they can do to support you during the pregnancy, or how they can help with things like nutrition and stress management, or they might just want to learn about baby's development and ask their own questions. Even if your partner can't make it to that first appointment, be sure to bring home any info the provider gives you so that you can go over it together. And that way you're both on the same page from the beginning.
By the end of the first trimester, you should feel more confident about what's happening with your body and baby's development. This is the time to really start preparing, taking care of yourself, staying active, and getting that foundational knowledge for the rest of your pregnancy. Next up, you'll have your second trimester appointments. This is where things start getting really exciting. By now, you're probably feeling a lot more energized, the nausea might be fading, and your baby is growing fast. This is also when you'll have some of the most important appointments. The big milestone this trimester is the anatomy scan, which usually happens around 20 weeks. It's a detailed ultrasound where the doctor will check all of your baby's organs, their growth, and how everything is developing. You'll get to see so much more than in the first trimester. Baby's little face and hands and feet. It's just such a special moment. During the scan, they'll measure things like baby's head, brain, heart, limbs. They're looking to make sure everything is developing on track and that baby is growing at the right pace. This is also the time when you can find out the baby's gender, if you choose to.
But no pressure. If you want to keep it a surprise, you can. And partners, this is definitely one of those appointments that you don't want to miss if you can help it. It's incredible to see your baby in so much detail, and being there for that moment really helps you feel connected.
Exactly, and don't worry if your partner can't make it to every appointment. You can still share the excitement by going over those ultrasound pictures together and talking through what the doctor said.
Yeah, even if you can't be there and maybe you can't even FaceTime, ask your partner to keep you in the loop. Maybe go over the updates together at dinner, or make it a point to talk about what the doctor shared. It helps you stay involved even from a distance.
This trimester is also when you'll have the glucose screening, usually between 24 and 28 weeks. This test checks for gestational diabetes, which is something that can develop during pregnancy. The process is simple, but it is important. You'll drink a sugary drink, wait an hour, and then have your blood drawn to see how your body processes sugar. If your levels come back a little high, your provider might have you do a second test, which is longer, to confirm if you actually have gestational diabetes. But the good news is, even if you do have it, it's usually totally manageable with diet and exercise, and sometimes you might need medication. Your provider will guide you through everything.
Partners, you can be really supportive here too, helping to plan meals that keep mom's blood sugar balanced, or even joining her for walks to stay active does make a huge difference. It's all about working together to keep both mom and baby healthy.
Exactly, and this is the perfect time to ask questions like, what can I do to lower my risk of gestational diabetes? And what changes should I make to my diet or lifestyle? Staying active, eating a balanced diet with a lot of whole grains, lean proteins, and veggies can help keep you healthy. One more thing to keep in mind during the second trimester is that your prenatal appointments will still include regular checkups to monitor your weight, blood pressure, and baby's heartbeat. You'll be seeing your provider about every 4 weeks during this time.
This is also a great time for partners to start thinking about how to get more involved. Childbirth classes are often recommended in the second or early third trimester. So not only do they help prepare you for labor, but they also give partners the tools to support you during delivery.
Yes, and we actually offer a childbirth class for couples that covers everything you both need to know to feel prepared for labor and delivery. You can find the link for that in the description below. Finally, the third trimester. This is the home stretch, and your prenatal appointments will start happening more frequently, usually every 2 weeks and then weekly as you get closer to your due date. At these appointments, your provider will continue to monitor your weight, blood pressure, baby's heartbeat, but now they're also paying close attention to baby's position. They want to see that baby is head down and in an optimal position for birth.
If the baby isn't head down, don't panic. There are things you can do to encourage baby to move into position. So ask your provider about techniques like the Miles circuit or spinning babies, which are methods to help get babies head down. We have a blog all about how to do the Miles circuit, and the link is in the description below.
This is also when you'll get the Group B strep test, which happens around 36 weeks. It's a quick swab to check for bacteria that could be passed to your baby during labor. If it's positive, your provider will likely suggest that you take antibiotics during labor to protect your baby. But as you get closer to your due date, this is also a great time to discuss your birth plan with your provider. For example, if you prefer to wait for labor to begin naturally and want to avoid an induction unless medically necessary, ask your provider, will you support my plan to let labor start on its own, as long as everything looks healthy? It's important to know that your doctor respects your wishes and will communicate with you about any decisions during labor.
Partners, this is great to be involved in those birth plan discussions as well. Make sure you know what's in the plan, like preferences for labor positions, pain management, or avoiding unnecessary interventions. Knowing how you can advocate for her during labor is really important.
And if there's anything specific you want to avoid, like an early induction or interventions unless absolutely necessary, ask questions like, under what circumstances would we need to consider interventions? And how will we make that decision together? It's about making sure you feel comfortable and heard when it's time to give birth.
You don't need to know all the answers right away, but understanding your options now makes it easier to stay calm when things are moving fast during labor.
And as you get into these weekly appointments, don't forget to ask the practical questions too, like, how can I tell if I'm going into labor, and when should I head up to the hospital? Your provider can help you recognize the signs and know what to expect when things get going.
This is also when partners can step up and be a planner, tracking when contractions start, timing them, making sure you've got everything ready to go for the hospital.
These last few weeks are all about getting ready mentally and physically, finalizing your birth plan, pack that hospital bag, and make sure both you and your partner feel prepared for what's coming.
It's game time, and partners being there to support her in these final days and knowing how to help her during labor is your most important job.
By the time you're at these weekly appointments, everything is about getting ready for the big day. So stay on top of your questions and make sure you feel supported and trust that you're ready for this incredible experience.
When it comes to partners and prenatal appointments, we know it's not always possible for your partner to attend every single appointment, but there are plenty of ways they can still stay involved.
You can talk through each appointment with them afterward. Share the highlights and important updates from the doctor so they feel included.
One thing I did when I couldn't make an appointment is I would at least put her appointments on my calendar for me to remember to talk to her about it. And so that mental burden wasn't just on her. I was active, and at night I would ask her how the appointment went. Partners can also help by preparing all those things at home, whether that's packing the hospital bag with mom, practicing those labor positions, or reviewing that birth plan in depth.
The goal is to keep your partner up to date, even if they're not physically there for every visit. Teamwork makes a big difference in feeling prepared for labor and delivery. So there you have it, everything you need to know about your prenatal appointments and how to make the most of them.
We hope this helps you feel more prepared for the journey ahead. Prenatal appointments are key to making sure both you and your baby stay healthy, so take advantage of them and ask those questions.
And don't forget to involve your partner in the process. You're in this together, and staying on the same page can make a huge difference.
Speaking of staying on the same page, we've got something that can help you both feel even more prepared. Our free trimester checklists for couples are in the description below. These include to-do lists for each trimester, not just for mom, but for your partner too.
These checklists cover everything from prenatal appointments and baby prep to self-care, communication tips for both of you. You can download them using the link in the description.
Thanks for watching today. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe, and drop a comment below with any tips or questions you have about prenatal appointments.
And don't forget to grab your free trimester checklists for couples. We'll see you in the next video.